Right. Good. It's live now. Where's that? Open that up. Close that. Okay. All right. Dun, dun. Put that. That can go there. I don't need that there. That's Damien. Is that doing picture in picture? Oh, yeah, good. Damo's channel. Yeah, he's got heaps of stuff on here. How many videos he got? 244. Wow. Okay. Mark Doreen. All right. Oh, wow. Judd Leinhardt as well. Where are we? That's interesting. Why is that like that? Oh, where's the microphone? Is that plugged in? Microphone. That's green. That's green. Okay, cool. That must be working. All right, go back to... Where are we? All right. What public chat? Is there somebody in there? Who's that? Dan. Kia ora, Dan. Hi, Joe. Hi, all. I don't know about all, bro. It might just be you. Oh, and there's DMC7756. Sent a salute. What's this? Hope you all had a great weekend. Let me just angle the screen so I'm not even going to lean so far into it. Likewise, Dan. Hope your weekend's been good too. And anybody else, if there is anybody else on here. Anyway, a few things to run through with regards to what's been happening, the channel over the weekend, what's coming up, etc. And I thought I'd just start with Damien Porter's channel, actually. I haven't done any reactions to his stuff for a while, but I've seen some stuff pop up on my feed as I subscribe to his channel. And I see he's interviewed Randy Couture, former UFC, I think, light heavyweight and heavyweight champion. He's done another podcast by the looks of things with former All Blacks strength and conditioning coach. So what's he got here? From the New Zealand All Blacks to the Baltimore Ravens. He's had some incredible guests on his podcast. And I see he's had former Aussie SASR veteran Mark Doreen. I think I saw, and Danny Green, the boxer as well. So he's got a heck of a lot of people on there. Why did I bring it up? Just to direct people over to his channel if they haven't already. Can't remember. It's got it obviously there in the about and his background with his military service and that sort of thing, and police service, and then into I think he's still in the fire and emergency services right now. Don't quote me on that. Also known as the How Not to Die guy, but you can see some information and stuff on him if and when you get a chance. Go over, check him out, have a look at Damo. I'll just leave that up there. People will either have a look or they won't. They'll either subscribe and support him or they won't. But I'm sure he's got something in there for everyone. By the looks of the guests, Taylor Cannon, what's this? Reinventing Rehabilitation, Performance and Human Movement. plenty of female uh, guests, plenty of male guests, and seems like a really cool mix of people. He's had DJ Shipley as well. He's interviewed DJ Shipley. I think he's also interviewed John Shrek McPhee. Um, yeah, Damo, can't speak highly enough of the guy. He's got a really cool background, very much focused on their health and well-being and strength and conditioning and all that sort of stuff, in terms of what he does. And he's somebody that strives to do that by being an example in the process. So, check him out, support him if you feel like it. I'll leave his, I'm going to leave just his screen up there, or his page up there on my screen, with regards to this live. I couldn't be bothered scrolling through the subscriptions there on the left-hand side to try to find it. So I just typed in his Straight Talk Mind and Muscle podcast, knowing that it would bring up his channel. So yeah, that's that one. That's Damien Porter. For those that may not know, now you know. Where are we? Sorry, let's just see. Sorry, Dan. Yeah, have had a great weekend. Hope you have as well. BW Harris. Hey, Bazza. Gotcha live. All good. Yeah, cheers, bro. I am actually live this time. But I don't know the comment. Maybe your comment delayed in terms of coming up, but this is the first live for today. Dan, sorry about the text, bro. Was just keen as to watch the vid. Yeah, all good. So I'm going to talk about that too. So for those that may not know, the live with Shubs, the walk and talk, the Hikoi and Kōrero with Shubs, posted that up today. Done some snippets, some shorts. I've still got a whole bunch more shorts that I should be clipping from that over 2 hour walk in Kōrero. We did sit down for a bit of it as well. But I put that up today and just had so there's early access for those members at the deeper dive level of the membership, and above, but it will be available at 8 o'clock this evening. What's that? Another, an hour, 45 minutes away. Yeah, hour, 45 minutes away. 6:15 right now. So 2000 hours, 8 o'clock, it'll be, it'll just be public. So I just set it up like that. So if any members at that level wanted to have a little look beforehand, they could. Otherwise, if you want to just wait, just wait. So that's that. So yeah, no stress. People message me and email me all the time, or Instagram message as well. So yeah, all good. I get it. How was the Auckland traffic? Do you miss it? Traffic was surprisingly, it was pretty busy for a Saturday. I was like, what's going on here? Even when we went out to Muriwai Beach, and then when we came back in, it wasn't too bad when I was going out though. By the time I left, like even going from Hobby back to Papatoetoe, traffic wasn't that bad. So yeah, spent some time with my mum. It was good to see you. Yeah, so enjoyed that traffic. Otherwise, yeah, probably did I miss it? No. Glad I'm not in the traffic when it's at its proper traffic. Um, oh, cheers, Dan. You didn't need to do that. Appreciate you though, bro. Thanks for that. You've been a long time. Like, there's plenty of people, long time supporters. Whether people, want to do membership or just wait, neither here nor there for me. I appreciate the support in whatever way, shape, or form that comes. And I know that there are people that would gladly look to support further if they could, but their circumstances don't allow that, and that's 100% all good. I appreciate the fact that they would even take the time to send a message. Like, I've not met some of these people that have sent the messages and just expressed some kind words, and the fact that they would love to, but they're just not in a position to be able to do that at this time. And so, like, yeah, that just catches me off guard when that happens, and because it's never something that's expected. Yeah, I put it up. If people want to, they want to. If they don't, they don't. And yeah, it is what it is. But thank you very much to those that have reached out and shared those some of your story, and circumstances that you face. So appreciate it. What are we up to? Update in here, and I'll look to try to pay a bit more attention to the comments. I'll always do what I can, but always, yeah, I know, I know, bro. Thank you very much. Connections and work challenges. So, man, I had yesterday, like, this weekend's been going great, still going great. Yesterday in the evening, I got a call. People have, I don't know how things work out. But I've been done a fair few videos and lives, to be fair, in regards to the reintegration space, but on the back end of those questions that come through from the corrections officer and a follow up. And I think there might have been one or two others as well. Anyway, uh, a man that I have a heck of a lot of respect for. Um, Somebody who is only a few years older than me, but just way wiser than me, and yeah, he's just a bit. I think the word in Maori is taumaha, heavy. Things getting on, weighing him down, and just feeling just quite burdened with work. And we worked together in the reintegration space. He was my. He described himself to others as my wingman, my 2IC, and he was and is a fantastic human being. I have all the time in the world and all the respect in the world for this guy. Anyway, he called me last night. I saw his name flash up on my phone. I was like, "Oh, cool." I thought, "Oh, maybe we're going to go for a hot chocolate or something," because it's probably been maybe 7, 8 months since we caught up. Like I've said in the lives, I'd like to leave that space, and it's in safe hands and good hands with him at the helm, and the rest of the team that are there. As long as the men do what they said they would do. So anyway, uh, yeah, it just wasn't the call that I was expecting. There's, some some heavy challenges and stuff happening there at the moment, and it's what's the words I'm looking for? You can't help but carry and take. Well, I think any job, but when you're dealing with people, a whole bunch of complexity and challenging circumstances. At the same time, you know that by and large, a number of them are master manipulators. And I'll bring that up again. I think I spoke about that in some of my lives and answering the questions, especially those that have been in a long time. I say this with respect, but also with caution, because your antennas and situational awareness should be on, whether you're a corrections officer or not. Those that have been inside are very, very good at manipulating circumstances, situations, individuals into getting what they want. And it seems like, not seems like, that is exactly what's happened here to, like I said, to the man that I have a great deal of respect for. Anyway, he feels a bit lighter now. We had a good chat. It was good to just see him in person, give him a hug and hear him out, give my take, and back him and support him like he always did me. Although I'm not there where he's working, if he ever needed a support person for a hui, he knows that he can call me. If he knows that he's struggling, or if he feels like he's struggling and just feeling really weighed down, I'm stoked that he knows that he can call and that he did call. That's part of why that message at the end of the vast majority of my videos is by and large the same and may sound repetitive, because we all need that at some point and sometimes, I think. And yeah, it was just really nice, for me to be there for him, and then to get a message after, and to know that it's not weighing so heavy on him now. And even while we were there together, he was just talking about it and able to express some of the stuff that was happening. Then I was able to chime in and try to provide some guidance and support. At the same time, one other positive thing that happened, because I went and met with him in Otaki at the BP there, because they got a little cafe thing there. But the All Blacks coach, Mr. Dave Rennie, was there eating a pie. And he was eating his pie, which with who I assume was his wife. And I really wanted to go over, get a photo, shake his hand, just sort of blinking, starstruck, looking as, oh, wow, there's the All Blacks coach. And what, just because of it, he seems like a very good man. I love the All Blacks and the Kiwi teams, and I was just like, oh wow, it's not every day you see an All Blacks coach sitting in a petrol station that you've come to meet, catch up with your mate. And so I got there a little bit earlier in the end, and my mate wasn't there, so he got there at the time that he said we'd get there. And I sort of hung around, not like right next to him. I did leave him, let him eat his pie. Probably last thing they want is to be bombarded, by people going, "Oh, can I get a photo with you?" Blah blah blah. So he ate his pie, stood around. Then he got up off his seat and he walked over. I was going to grab him then. I probably should have grabbed him then, but I thought, oh, I had all sorts of stuff running through my head. Oh, maybe it's too soon between him just finishing his pie and Now he's getting up to stretch his legs or get a paper towel or whatever. As it was, just going up to get his then his cup of coffees or whatever for him and his I assume his sweetheart, his wife. And then he grabbed them and he was walking back. I was like, oh damn, and I can't go up to him now because both his hands are full. But he went to a table where I think there's some like sugar and stuff and paper towels, and he put it down. He put them down, and then I saw my opportunity, laughing with Samoans, and I went over and because he wasn't looking at me, I think he, probably just looking down, doesn't want to be eyeballing everybody, I suppose. Whereas people like me are just like looking at him, like, look at me, so that I can then go in and like maybe feel a little bit more comfortable initiating a conversation or contact with in this case the current All Blacks coach Dave Rennie. Anyway, he didn't look at me, but I saw that his hands were free, so I just sort of slid on over and I was like, "Oh, excuse me, coach." And he looked up, he looked over, and I was like, "Oh, I just wanted to, say congratulations on the appointment and shake your hand." And he was cool, very gracious, put out his hand. He goes, "Oh, thank you, thanks very much for that." Now I did have my phone in my pocket, but I could see he was just trying to, when you get a hot drink, you want it to be hot and you don't want to be stuck there with somebody who's blinking, chewing up all your time. And now you ordered this nice hot coffee and now it's blinking cold. So I had all that stuff running through my head too. So I didn't, long story short, I didn't ask him for a photo, even though I wanted to. Um, and he, yeah, very gracious, shook my hand, and yeah, I got to thank him. So yeah, I got to shake the All Blacks coach's hand, which was pretty cool for me anyway. Not so much for him, but yeah, that was probably one of the other highlights in terms of travelling through to Otaki. Who'd have thunk that I'd meet the All Blacks coach Dave Rennie at an Otaki BP petrol station, and I could have interrupted him while he was eating his pie, but I didn't. And I waited, and I could have held him up a little bit longer to say, "Oh, could I get a selfie with you?" But I didn't. Maybe I'll regret it. I don't regret it. Um, in terms of not asking him for a selfie, I do think he probably would have. People in the petrol station, they weren't swarming him, which he was probably grateful for. But unless they had already spent some time with him and got photos or whatever before I got there, so because he was sitting there, he was probably had about a quarter of his pie left by the time I saw him when I walked into the petrol station to pay for the fuel when I filled up. And then, yeah, and then when I was malingering around trying to wait for an opportunity to shake his hand and just congratulate him. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. Catching up with my mate was fantastic. It was great. Um, just reminders of the masterful manipulation that many of those who are not genuine in what it is that they're looking to do. They talk a big game. They say all the things that they think you want to hear, and they're just very good at it. Like they've got lots of time. They've spent lots of time in prison to work things out, to look at things, and I'll touch on some stuff. Oh, I just saw a tēnā koe, Joe. Hey, Dave, need you in the AB's camp to give these guys a rev up. Well, actually, funny enough, they've already got a guy that's there. He was one of my team leaders in the private security sector, ex New Zealand operator, regiment operator. So I think they're in good hands. He's been with them for a bit now. I think he is not. I think he was with them while Fozzie was there. He may have been there with them while Steve Hansen was still coach, possibly, definitely while Foz was there and while Razor was there, and I assume he'll still be there now. His role is not a rev up role, but he's a sort of guy that has got that real quiet professionalism about him, and no doubt guys will know his background and stuff, and he'll he'll definitely have a way with words to communicate to them as and when required, but understanding that that's not his substantive role in the All Blacks camp, but yeah, they got a super quality guy there that could, he'll do far more than what I could probably say. You're probably joking anyway, but yeah, they've got a good guy there, and they've got access to other people too in that space that they can pull in. I think even Jamie Pinnell was doing some stuff in that high performance field with NRL and maybe rugby and other sports. But yeah, there's some good guys there. Oh, that's good to hear. Jamie did something similar with. Oh, there you go, with the Wires, if I remember. Yeah, I think it was the Wires. So yeah, no, they definitely got some good guys there and some accessibility to those lads if they need to. What was I going to talk about? Just this ties into. I'm not going to pull up those questions. I've done one separate video so far to the 11 questions. So I've got 10 more of those to do, which I will do. But yeah, like I get it. There's they go through a lot of stuff. Number of these men in this case, I've only worked directly with men that have been in and out of prison. I haven't worked with the females that have been in and out of prison, although I have spent a fair bit of time going in and out of Arohata prison, the female prison here in Wellington. That was for different projects. It was nothing to do with reintegration or anything like that. But yeah, they're carrying some trauma. They are and have struggled. They've committed a whole bunch of crimes and stuff like that, and they're struggling with those sorts of things. And so they're in and out of that system. They feel like the system has let them down. And probably, to be fair, there are, like with anything, there are massive gaps in systems. There's massive gaps in government. There's massive gaps in a system like corrections. And I'll look to touch on one of those things without going into all the detail um, this evening, just on that. So, that aside, though, you know, any one of us, all of us, have the option to make a decision. We're going to carry on down that path that got us in prison in the first place, or we're going to be tika and pono, honest and true, in our communications that we said that we wanted to make a change. We said we wanted to break the cycle. I've heard that story a bazillion times from men that have made it through to the whare and men that just, nah, they didn't progress past me. They didn't get to the second stage. Or some did progress past me, but then they got picked up by one of the other staff, hence why the multiple sets of eyes looking at the people that we were assessing, and they still do that today. But man, just on the back end of that, without going into all those details, for us, I guess, to just be mindful of it, but to understand that, like them, like us, we have the power to make that decision. We're not being forced to continually take drugs. We're not being forced to continually break the law. We are choosing to be a victim where people are choosing to blame others. People are choosing to shut other people out in regards to not talking about what's going on for them at the moment, why they're relapsing or potentially relapsing and not following their plans and that sort of thing. And sadly, can't force people to come out and talk about challenges and stuff that they may have, largely because of the way I think males in general have probably been wired from a very young age. Men don't speak about their feelings. That's not what we're here to do. Um, I still do that at times. Like there's stuff that I'll still just keep to me and I won't bring up. Um, and I'll still have moments where I just, things will just get on my nerves that much that I'm thinking the best thing for me to do right now is just walk away and just not talk to you. Because it's just, you know, can say some things that potentially would regret and all that sort of thing, which wouldn't be good for the person, say if it was me saying the words, and or it wouldn't be good for the person receiving, on the other end. But again, at the same time, I still slip up and do that sort of stuff too. So that stuff aside, ultimately, we still are making the decision. One of the things that I wanted to speak about without going into all the details, or maybe two more things if I remember the second one, which is around the gaps in structures and that sort of thing, and corrections is no different. It's just the leaders that are in roles to supervise or manage the next level, dare I say, underneath them. I don't mean to use that as a derogatory term, but the structure. In terms of the structure, there's a leader, then there's the next person, then there's me, or wherever you fit. But can't emphasize enough, talk probably flogging a dead horse here, and people would understand that. Or people might think, well, yeah, duh, that's common sense. But those leaders, so say if I was still in my position, if I was still service manager, I would expect my leader above me to have my back. Like simple, like I'm just being honest. And I've shared that. Like I said, Thomas Perenara, TJ Perenara's dad, I had the privilege of having him as my general manager. That guy had my back. Um, if there were, and he did that multiple times. When there were complaints, when there were things that came through, that fella had my back. If I made a mistake, he came to me respectfully, having my back, not holding me to account when he needed to. But just there's a guy that I thought, man, this Thomas, if you ever see this, you're a great leader. So I really enjoyed being led by you and having his style of leadership too, and being able to have just the open, transparent conversations. This is what I like. What do you like? Boss, like how do you like your subordinates, which I would have been to him, which I was to him. How do you like us to work? Do you want like a daily report, a weekly report, a monthly report? Like, just let me know so that it's not a surprise, as we're working together and you're starting to wonder where's my update, etc. Anyway, we hashed all of that sort of stuff out, and I think that's why we had such a good relationship. But also, he's just very down to earth and just calls a spade, and so it was really easy to work with him. Anyway, it's sad when people who have a leader and that leader doesn't back them. That level, when you're in a position, say you're a service manager, you're managing a service, you've been employed there to manage that service because you're basically yep, you've got some strategic oversight in terms of the growth and what's happening in that space, but there's a lot of heavy operational stuff that you're doing, the day to day, the staffing. um, are we doing everything that we need to do in accordance with the policies and procedures, the men coming in and out, if we're talking about the reintegration service? Then from a strategic perspective, you're looking at what does longer term look like? How does this potentially build out? Like if this is a pilot program, what's our recommendations to corrections to the iwi in terms of how, or like the pitfalls that we've identified, how we could address those gaps and how we could build this out? How do we go about getting a female reintegration service specific, designed like this one here, but only for females, like, because that would be great, etc., etc. So there are some strategic stuff. Service manager, by and large, looks after the strategic stuff from that perspective, in terms of planning, supporting, being at meetings with the higher ups within the organization, but it's still got some operational oversight. Where I was blessed was having this person as my wingman, the ultimate wingman, taking care of the operational day to day, which allowed me the bandwidth and freedom to look after the strategic stuff more closely so that I could give better briefings, write up better reports, communicate that better to my leader, who could then communicate it to his leader and then eventually to the CEO, So, um, but it's sad when that doesn't happen, like when that level of leadership isn't there. And for me, as I speak to this, for somebody that I have a lot of respect for, like I mentioned, and for that person, like I said, forever grateful that he reached out to me and that we're able to have a chat today, and we'll stay connected. I'll check in from him from time to time, more frequently than the 7-8 months that had gone by since our last hot chocolate together. Or actually, he had a coffee, I had a hot chocolate. Uh, but I just don't think that that should happen. Like I've been well distanced from that space for over a year, probably coming up to a year and a half now. Grateful to still have a connection and that staff and that this person feels like they can contact me. But what I was hearing is just like, man, just really made me angry, sad. Um, but at the same time, understanding that that's not my space, that's not my co-papa. If he needs me as a support person, if there's a meeting coming up or whatever, 100% I'll be there, and I will likely say something because I know I know some of the people there, and right or wrong, unless they read something out, even if they read out the requirements of whatever the meeting might be, and the support person is just there for support, not to speak or whatever, unless I'm directly asked, I would probably abide by those. Um, unless somebody that I care about is just being dragged through the coals for what doesn't seem to be very good reasons. But anyway, that's my kōrero on leaders and just my whakaaro, my thoughts around, good leaders have their people's back. Good leaders are willing to um, bear all the brunt of whatever fallout happens for the purposes of protecting their team, their customers, and all that sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, if it means that that leader's going to lose their job over something like that, I wouldn't expect the leader to do that for me. But I do expect the leader to run top cover and look after their managers or their subordinates below when things come up. To the point that if they're getting reamed out for something, cool, accept that, eat it, but then don't go down the chain and then ream out the person who is allegedly the one who has caused this issue, or indeed caused you as the leader to get reamed out by a higher up boss. Because you may find, as has it happened in this case, that you cooked off far too fast, too soon at one of your best managers within within that organization, only to discover, after speaking with everybody else, including the men, that your manager did nothing wrong, and everybody backed him. And he didn't say anything. He didn't need to, because he knew what he was doing was right. They saw what happened. They knew what happened. They just went, spoke with the leader, and told the truth as part of the investigation. So, jumping the gun too soon, look, that's in my experience, that is one hell of a way. I wouldn't say definite way, but it's right up there in terms of the scale of things, in terms of its impact. That is a great way to negatively impact high performing individuals within your organization. And good people are trucking hard to find. Good people are bloody hard to find. So you want to look after them. That's my kōrero anyway. What I was going to say about the gaps is just in regards to how some of this, without going into all the details, but here's an insight for you. Drug and alcohol testing, random drug and alcohol testing. Pretty much run, structured, organized, coordinated by corrections. I didn't know this, but the mandate for what they have, and I'd be interested to see it. So I'm thinking about putting in a request for information under the Freedom of Information Act around the parts around the drug and alcohol testing, the random nature of the drug and alcohol testing. And what I mean by that is not so much that it's random, but what type of test corrections are specifically using. Are they just using a urine test for people that have been released out and on reintegration? Or are they doing a suite or a variety of things like the swab test? Swab test, basically get an instant result, and it is, as far as I'm aware, uh, those that are guilty of using substances that they shouldn't be doing have not yet figured out a way of how to beat it. Urine test, though, guys are beating that all day, and and getting clear results, negative, negative, negative. The swab result, however, proved that there were a few people that had otherwise proven negative, that have just been up to their old ways. And the disappointing thing was, they then also did a urine test. So done a swab, that's positive, urine, that's negative. So it just gives you, a pretty good idea of the time frames of the chemicals in the system, how long it takes, etc. Um, the impacts that it can have. And clearly, the swab test, I wouldn't say hands down, but it's proving to identify those that are not being tika and pono, not being true and honest in their dealings, and then be, well, I'm not tokai, you get what you get, ka kits, bro. Um, so yeah, the fact that sounds like corrections don't do that when they're out. I don't even know if they do it when they're in, but it sounds like, from what I've heard, it's just a urine test. Um, my take is, you're setting up genuine reintegration services that are full of people, or generally have got good-hearted people that want to help people succeed. You're setting up those services to fail, because then you start having, if you don't have good rules and stuff in place, a good culture, good leadership, good staff, etc., the bar is only slightly higher than what it was in corrections. And that's not saying a lot. Bar in terms of how they're treated, what their perception is of you, and what they think, and how they then ultimately behave, and the actions that they carry out. And if that's the perception, you're going to continuously have a reintegration service that is just a revolving door. And they're going to come, and then they're going to go back in, come back in. You might let them in again, then go back out. And a lot of the other services are like that, which is sad. Whereas the service, they have tried to give other people a second chance. Some have grabbed it and looked to make change. Others have just taken the piss again. So it's not everybody gets a second chance there. Some people have. Then they had the cheek to come back and ask for a third, even while I was there. I was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Not while I'm here. Um, yeah, you got me that second time. Uh, not going to happen again. So yeah, disappointing, and hence what I mean in terms of a lot of these men are just very good at manipulating situations, telling you things that they, by that stage, they're pretty confident that they know that that's the sort of stuff that you want to hear. They're doing things to that appear to be to put them in a more positive light, etc. And it's sad, it's disappointing for those that are genuine about wanting to make a change, because there isn't another service like the one that I was fortunate to be a part of um, in Aotearoa in New Zealand. It's got a great reputation with the parole board. It's got a great reputation with corrections. It's got a great reputation with the men. Those men who got exited for breaching, maybe not so much of a good reputation with them. But again, they made the decision and they get what they get. But what is interesting is that testing, random alcohol, drug and alcohol testing, but not so much the randomness of it, but the nature and the type of test that they are allowed to do. And it sounds pretty weak. So, um, fellas are going to game that all day. If they know that that's the case, they were expecting same sort of test. However, like the gentleman that I spoke about, he's very smart, and so he took things upon himself, and so probably some people that upset the apple cart. Not so much for the men there, some of the men, but only the men that were guilty, and then some of the higher ups at corrections that aren't on the ground, that don't have an understanding for what that work is like because they haven't done it. They have an understanding of what it's like from a oversight perspective, governance meetings, hearing the good news stories, reading the monthly reports, um, and that's cool. But uh, it's not the same as being on the ground, being immersed in it day in day out, because the service runs 24/7, and you got staff constantly going through that, seeing it, experiencing it. And some stuff is pretty challenging. Some stuff is very hard. Some stuff is very confronting. No, I'm not saying it's more confronting than a prison, because it's not. It's much different, but it still has a heck of a lot of challenges, because a lot of those men have been used to going to other places where the standards aren't the same. And so, therefore, I think they think, oh, this is just like any other one, but it's not. So, yeah, they're working on trying to get those partnerships right, lines of communication at the right times, but that needs to work both ways. So, yeah, hopefully things will get sorted out. I'm confident they will, with uh, my mate there doing what he's doing. But yeah, it's got to work. Not actually, not just both ways, not just corrections and the service. It's got to work with everybody, all the staff, all the men, and yeah, the correction staff and that as well, and the iwi and all that sort of stuff doing their thing. So anyway, that's that. Sorry, I might have missed. No, I don't think so. Um, no, was it? No, I didn't miss anything, which is good. Actually, that's probably because I don't know if anybody's on the live. Where are we? Anyway, I can carry on. Social media update. So, yeah, started off the part one of episode one of the Walk and Talks, or Hikoi and Kōrero, with Shubs at Shubs Live, Radio Aotearoa host, podcaster, disruptor, troublemaker, depending on how you view him. Uh, so that went well. But he runs he hosts a, I don't know what it's called, but as part of Radio Aotearoa, he's got a show that he runs from 4 till 7 weekdays, Monday to Friday. That fella's pumping through. I've spoken about this in other lives. Heaps of work, working really hard, inspiring actually. We haven't got into that part in our interviews yet, but I can share it here in this live, and I'll do that now because it'll come up when when we catch up again, and when we get to that stage. Like, all the questions, a whole bunch of stuff that I want to ask him is just clearly in my head based on what I've seen, how he does stuff, my own whakaaro and thoughts that I've had when I've watched his stuff. So There's no, and he's good at telling stories and he's good at speaking. So it will just, I can just say something and then he'll just carry on. Sometimes he's he's already, I guess, preempting what the rest of the question's going to be, and he just flows. So I can just pull back and let him go. But where was I going with that? The Radio Aotearoa and what he's doing, what he appears to be doing, and that sort of stuff, which I think is good, and how and why I say it's been inspiring for me seeing this guy pop up on my feed. Like I think I saw him pop up. I was like, oh gee, this fella, this Hori is pretty controversial. Initial take. That was my initial take. But also when even though I thought that controversial, that's because I didn't know what it was that he was raising. I thought, oh yeah. But I also saw somebody that was prepared to put his face on camera and be held to account. So he spoke about, if I'm wrong, just tell me that I'm wrong and I'll come on here and apologize. I'll go on all my platforms and apologize. I'll come and apologize to you in person if that makes it even better. And that can be filmed and uploaded to his socials. Like I was like, wow, like that says a lot about somebody. To me anyway. I don't know the guy from a bar. Well, I never knew the guy from a bar of soap. Pleased and fortunate that I get to have a bit of a connection and relationship with him now and a friendship. Uh, but he just seemed, and the more time I spend with him, to me, he just speaks from his heart, um, unhinged or unfiltered, whatever people want to call it. It's raw and it's honest, um, and I think you know the world could do with a lot more of that. Government could do with a lot more of that. Um, maybe in those areas they probably wouldn't use some of the colorful words that he uses, but I think the rawness and authenticity of it and just being straight to the, or maybe not necessarily straight to the point sometimes, but straight and direct in terms of what your question is or what the response is or how you're addressing an issue. I think the directness of that is important. And so yeah, you know I'm somewhat biased because in the military, there's quite a healthy dose of direct communication, which leads to getting results quicker, if I'm being honest. Like it does, because you're not having to mince around and dance around topics and things to worry about people's feelings or worrying about if he identifies as a woman today or she identifies as a blinking cat or whatever. I don't know. But the world has changed, the landscape has changed. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, equality and inclusion, like just there's a lot of madness. The fact that we're having debates about what is a woman, what is a man. So holy hecker. And in Australia, forget the name of the lady in the government who was saying she's disgusted and offended that her and her other biological woman would be told that they may need to have an exemption to enter into their dedicated female only spaces because some man decides that he wants to identify as a woman and wants to have the legal right to be able to enter into women only spaces. Ridiculous, eh? Ridiculous. Um, where was I? Yeah, so that social media. Anyway, it's not confirmed yet. So I don't, I've got to go back to Shubs with some um, ideas and stuff, or he's asked me to if I'm interested. I said, yeah, bro, I'm interested. I think it's so. I figured maybe I might put up another post, or I can ask you. I'll do this now and ask in the live. What sort of are there topics and or this topic? Yeah, probably topics is the right term. Are there topics that anybody that follows spends any time on my channel or that has interest in, or maybe you don't see it on my channel but you'd like to see it? Are there topics that you would like me to speak on? Um, and that, or whether it's on my channel or whether it's with Shubs, let me know. Can either whack that in the comments here or in the live if anybody's on here, and or you can just put it in the comments in the video when the live is showing as standard when it's sitting there. Reason that I asked that is Shubs is interested in um, having me potentially more regular on his Radio Aotearoa show. Like it might be a specific segment to talk about and provide insights based on certain things. Like he spat ball the ideas of military stuff, things that might affect the military, security, I think those are the two things, or three things, whatever, two things that he shared so far: military stuff and defense situations and security type stuff. And so, yeah, that stuff interests me. I do have some experience in that space. Some of my experience may be a bit dated in terms of depending on the specific topic, you know, and but still nonetheless interesting. It would give me some homework to do to look into things, and who knows, yeah, potentially try to be an impartial piece in there. Now that may be hard for me, I'll be honest. So I don't know if I could do that because I've been pretty open. I like to think about my biases around things towards from a military perspective, from just all of that sort of stuff, particularly to do with the military and that anyway. But it is interesting to me, and so I appreciated Shub's first floating the idea by me, second giving me an opportunity to say, yeah, I'm interested or not. Then when I said yeah, and then he's given me, some food for thought, something to think about, and then I'll go back to him as soon as I can, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and he'll then look at his schedule, and then see as and where he's thinking about. I shouldn't say he's not going to yet. Nothing's confirmed. He's thinking about in his head, maybe having a sort of regular slot, which would be cool. Hopefully that doesn't, I don't think it impacts Radio Aotearoa if I've mentioned that here. He didn't tell me not to say anything anyway, but it doesn't sound like anything that's so secret, can't talk about it. Because he's still in the planning phase. He's building a media company as part of what he's doing with Radio Aotearoa, and he's got some hearty goals for what it is that he's looking to do. And it's cool. It's cool to see him achieving those things. Who knows, man, how things play out. Like, he didn't go looking to get into radio. All the stuff that he's been doing through him just starting or restarting again, he's had multiple blinking setbacks and had multiple accounts just shut down, etc. And he's had multiple success in terms of followings, in terms of generating income through social medias and stuff that he's done, to where he is now. Like, clearly there is an appetite for Shubs and what he does on Radio Aotearoa, on social media. Love him or hate, love him or hate him, people, each to their own. He has a way of being able to resonate with people that find what he talks about interesting and or potentially sad but true. So he's made no secret about people that he has strong opinions of, a la Te Pāti Māori and members within that group, etc. And similarly, those people have, I guess, not held back in terms of their kōrero and their comments in response to. I get it, Shubs isn't everybody's cup of tea. Like I said, I haven't seen all his content. I probably won't get around to seeing all his content, but I have seen what I have seen of his content. To me, um, it's not fake, doesn't look fake, doesn't sound fake, and it seems as real as it gets in terms of his conversations and what he's asking for, and giving people an opportunity, regardless of how they feel, the chance to put their piece forward. He'll have them on Radio Aotearoa. Nobody's exempt, well, nobody's blocked from that. If anybody's blocked, they've blocked themselves. It hasn't come from him. So it's it's interesting. Like I said, the more time I spend with him, the clearer my vision gets in terms of what he's like. Yeah, I don't know his history, like a lot of his history, other than what he's shared. Um, Based on what I'm hearing now and the type of man that he is now, and or at least appears to be, if you're going to be a profile on social media, it's pretty easy. Like, if you've been doing some dodgy dealings and shadings currently, like now, not talking about his past and things that he's done in the past that he's not proud of. We've all got that history. Um, if he's doing anything underhanded, like currently, I'd like to think it'd be pretty easy to catch him out. Much like the old Deliver King, I don't take steroids. If I was taking steroids, do you think I would have these appendages at the bottom? Like, he was referring to his legs and how small they were, he was saying, for his upper body size. Oh, hello, next minute, email trail comes out, and with all his, well, not his disclosures, but all his concoctions for his doses and what he's taking and all sorts, and it just spiraled downhill from there. You know, I guess hopefully he's doing well and probably still successful. But the narrative that he was running for so long, convincing so many people, just come unstuck in an instant. So I like to think, you know, if Shubs is in that similar sort of boat, touting and spouting something that isn't true, there's probably people out there that know, like the person that sent to the More Plates, More Dates guy the emails between the Liver King and whoever the steroid providers were. So anyway, that's the social, and so yeah, there'll be a bit more content. So man, just did up a hectic schedule, daily schedule for me to do. Something that is definitely going to be pushing me, and it's also something that excites me in terms of I have always personally I've always gotten the results that I've been after when I have been pushing and stepping, you know, outside, well outside my comfort zone, and dare I say and use the term redlining, day after day, week after week, month after month for long periods of time. But I know that um, for me, I know that that recipe works. And so, will it work this time? I've got nothing to sway me or convince me otherwise that it won't. Is it going to be hard? Yeah, it's going to be hard work. There's lots of times I'm going to be needing to try to get quicker with the uploading of just blinking got onto the cloud stuff so I can free up space on this laptop so it's constantly clear. So paying for the added cloud space so I can just upload and keep all that stuff. There's a whole bunch of old content which I deleted because I needed to make space on my device. So getting more efficient with that. But there's lots of stuff. I'm excited about it. And some of that is gonna play out in the coming days, weeks, and months, and then carrying on. So I guess once you get into a rhythm of things, like that routine just becomes the new norm, and then you just crack on with it. So that's that's that. You'll see more about that, I suppose, as things pop up. Some things which may be different. Some things, man, I just did a video today. I just got to edit it after this actually, and then upload it. Uh, I won't talk about it. I'll just let it. I'll let it pop up. You'll see it. You'll be like, this is this is different. But I enjoyed it personally, honestly, and I think probably maybe the reason that I didn't lean into that space earlier might have just been because of the uncomfortable nature of it. So for me personally, other people might think it's weird or whatever too, but yeah, it is what it is. Like I thought, oh, you know what, rip the band-aid off, just do it, make that piece of content today. So I did, and I enjoyed it. I needed to uh, do everything I could to not go and crack up whilst I was doing the video and that sort of thing. But it was enjoyable. It was fun. So for me, anyway. Hopefully, it puts a smile on people's faces if they decide to have a look, and or just say, hey, enough of that rubbish. Don't do that. I think you know what? If that happens, I would probably do more of it. To be fair, so we will see. That's just one small piece. So the Radio Aotearoa stuff is another piece. Yeah, actually, I hope something like that happens. That would mean an adjustment in my daily schedule to accommodate that, if that is something that Shubs wants to go ahead with, because it would be, yeah, it, like the more I think about it, I think, oh, that'd be interesting. Probably not too dissimilar, although Mark Wales does his own thing on his YouTube channel. I like how he breaks the stuff down from using his military perspective, stuff in Iran, how all those sorts of things have been going. The stuff in, was it Venezuela or whatever it was, grabbing the prime minister or president there and his wife, whole bunch of things. So it's not hard to grab information, have a read through that, and then apply in Mark Walesy's case, or Walesy, and then for him to apply his perspective, especially from a strategic commander perspective, troop commander within the regiment. So he's used to having led guys that you know don't need much, don't really need a rev up to get up for work, because that's what they volunteered for in the first place. And if they needed a rev up to be doing that sort of work, they likely wouldn't have passed selection. They likely wouldn't have passed cycle. They likely wouldn't have even put in an application. So, he's used to leading that level of men or that level of operator. And so when he applies his lens to it from a strategic operations focused leadership lens, it's pretty cool. I enjoy a lot of Walesy stuff. So if you haven't had a look at him, actually, maybe I should try and let me do this. Let's go stop share here and then find Walesy's stuff. Mark Wales. Just type his name in instead of going to my subscriptions. There he is. Look at him. Look at that rooster. Here we go. Oh, where's my share button gone? Share. And there was somebody on one of the lives that I did walk and talk to do one with Walesy. It would be good. So there he is. Oh, there you go. He's got the Outrider podcast. Maybe that's his own podcast, or maybe that's a collaboration on a podcast that he went on. I'm not too sure. But he's got plenty of content and stuff on there. Lots of shorts, videos. I assume the 224 is just long form videos, and then he's got shorts. But he applies a very professional and experience-based mindset to the stuff that he's speaking to. So yeah, check him out. So I had Damo up there. Now we've got Mark Wells up there. So check out Mark. Let me just scroll back down so you can see there his handle and everything. Those that don't know, he's got some. I mean, if people are following me, there's probably some of the same people that would enjoy Mark's content more than mine. so maybe if that's what happens and you head over there and spend more time there, all good. Like if that's how it works out, people are after the content that they enjoy, right? So it doesn't bother me if you find somebody that's delivering content that's more in line with what you were looking for in the first place. So get after it. Social media, Shubs, content. Maybe I should have typed that in here at the start or something. When your divisional system lets you down, time and again, it's a dark place, Joe. Yeah, I bet. Just seeing some of that with some of the men in that reintegration space. Yeah, I can see and have an understanding and have seen firsthand, how that can have a knock-on effect for them. But also, like I've said, ultimately, they've got to make a decision and they have to want, just like the part that I share at the end, things can do and will get better. The sun will shine again. There is a light at the end of that tunnel. And, better days are always closer than you and I think, but we have to want them and we have to make the change in order for that to happen. If we don't, it's not going to happen. What is it? Act rather than be acted upon, that sort of thing, like take action. There's so many, like, not that I am, but you look at, there's a whole bunch of successful people out there that constantly share the same message. You want things to change, you want things to get better, start with yourself. Never mind blaming the government, never mind blaming the politicians, never mind blaming your boss at work or whatever. Never mind blaming your circumstances. Like, start with yourself and make the change. So do whatever those changes are, and then just stay disciplined and consistent with them. And I think, maybe to a degree, like, well, not to a degree, that stuff's always been in the back of my head because I believe that stuff's true. And I spoke, I can't remember what it was, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, just about how comfortable I've been. Like, get up, do some trading, or look at the charts, I should say, do some trading and the timings when I'm on there, do some reaction videos, like get my health and well-being training in the morning, then again in the afternoon or evening, and just cruise, like, relax. But as I think back on that, like, it's been great to get to where I am now with the YouTube channel. But it's just like, I don't want to say stalled, because there's still been people kind enough to come along and join and subscribe and stuff, which is, it's awesome to me. But I suppose it's just, yeah, got super comfortable and just been like, yeah, this is cool. I'll just do this. But yeah, for me, having the realization and then seeing Shubs and what he's doing, like I was alluded to earlier, and I've shared this with Shubs, I was like, bro, it's inspiring. He's inspired me, somebody that he didn't know from a bar of soap, just because of his authenticity, the way he's speaking, not because he's looking to grow. That's another thing that you'll hear about Shubs too, and that you will figure out about him if you, I guess, observe his content, or if you're lucky enough to spend any time with him in person. Like it's, I don't want to give it away because it'll come up in the thing and stuff of what he's done and what he's looking to do with Radio Aotearoa. And it's not about money. He's got a very interesting mindset in terms of what he wants to achieve, and I found it really cool. So, if anything, that probably, um, I would say, dare I say, added to the inspiration that he's already provided for me to get after and do the things that I want to do with the channel. So, could I do them cruising the way I was? Probably. It'd probably take 10, 15 years. If I do what I'm doing now, probably, who knows, maybe I'll get to a stage like I'm going to improve at a much faster rate than what I would do if I just carried on cruising. And second, you know, I may very well achieve what it is that I want to achieve in terms of not only channel growth, but also content and consistency and stuff with it in different areas and in other areas. And in particular, when I say growth, growth across the board, but in particular in the membership area for the content itself, like the SAS selection prep in reality. It's a whole bunch of content which I spoke about in another live that's part of that grind in the background. So more content, more videos to be made to go into those spaces. More content for the training and discipline membership piece in there. More content for the deeper dive stuff, the walk and talk stuff. Yeah, so I created those. There's opportunity to put that stuff into play, but I hadn't been spending a lot of time on that stuff um, until recently. So there'll be some changes and stuff in there for anybody that is in that space already. If not, at the very least, those that are supporting the channel anyway will likely start to see other stuff in there. Just like the bro asked about the Shubs interview, which will be live in another 50 minutes. Well, not live, but you know what I mean. It'll be accessible at 8 o'clock. Content and Radio Aotearoa spoke about that. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Social media update, content and Radio Aotearoa. Sorry, I flipped those two things around. The Radio Aotearoa stuff should have been last, but I did it second to last. That's probably just because that's where my eyes went to first. What have we got here? A few. What's this? Not forgetting a few great words from people that understand. A packet of tissues can fix can fix it. Yeah, crack up. What do we got? Dan, he's onto it. Your life experience is well worth a slot on his show. Genuinely mean that. Cheers, bro. Appreciate it. What's this? One of my mates is in a local pistol club. Oh well, I've never been with him, but I'm keen as. Would you be interested in having a shoot? I would actually. Yeah, I haven't shot a pistol in ages. Doesn't take much, man, for the I'm just having a whole bunch of not flashbacks but memories of the instructors when when you're dealing with the pistols and all that sort of thing. Some people, I never really came across anybody that was just naturally good at pistol first time they picked it up. I definitely wasn't. It's something that I had to earn and then make sure that you stay on top of. But when you're serving in a unit like the SAS, like you spend a heck of a lot of time on the range. So if you're not getting good at it, you're either just naturally useless, or you somehow fluked getting through in the first place, or you're blind, like maybe vision or something, maybe weakness in terms of pistol grip technique or whatever, in terms of how you're gripping, etc. Could be a number of things, but those things would generally be addressed and identified and then fixed. And if not fixed, then deemed not suitable and like car keats, bro, gotta see you later, you can't stay here. So guys do become very, very good. Like with anything, practice makes habit. Might not make perfect, but practice makes habit. You develop very consistent, dare I say, more effective habits the more you practice something. You practice sitting on the couch and eating potato chips like regularly, day after day, night after night. You're going to be very good and have very good or effective couch sitting potato chip eating habits. If you practice getting up and going out and getting your work in even when you don't want to, or you're going to develop those habits in a positive way too, and or in a more effective way. So, um, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, that'll be cool. So I'll touch base with you, and we'll see what happens. It'll just depend on when that may be. So, like I said, I've got interviews on weekends. There may be some during the week. Haven't got any during the week so far this coming week, but that could change tonight, depending on a couple that I've been waiting to hear back from. This coming weekend, so next weekend is already full. So yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like those walk and talk interviews, there's a lot that goes into that. So where I can, I'll probably up. This will probably be the last week where I look to do two in the week, and where I last time where I look to have them back to back, like the Saturday and then the Sunday. Like getting two locations, not an issue. Spending time doing the interview, that's not an issue as well. That's the that's the where the gold is. But it's that time then to then go through it, edit or upload, edit, find all the shorts clips that you want to use, clip those, edit those separately because it's well the software that I use. That's what it does. I know people use AI and they can do the whole video and then put it into different AI and then it'll create a bunch of shorts for you. I've I've tried that with some of the stuff with the software that I use on Riverside, which is where I'm streaming this right now. uh, it's it's really hit and miss, and if I'm honest, I've had more misses than hits with regards to that. So the shorts that are coming up for Shubs and stuff has just been all manual, and that takes time. But I think there's a beauty and a benefit in that. Like for me, I know what it's like to go through all your content and then create shorts, multiple shorts from that one video. And there's heaps more shorts. Like I've only created probably half a dozen, but over the 2 hours, there's, dare I say, there's probably could be 50 to 100 shorts that I could create from that. It's, am I going to make 50 to 100 shorts out of that 1 2 hour video? Probably not, but I'll look to do a few and probably a few more tomorrow as I get more time, etc. Oh, where was I going? That what was that one? So that was yeah, sorry. So the interview is just the time component with all the post interview production, well, production stuff. Like yeah, there's a lot in there, and it takes time. So trying to get that, and then when it's loading super slow because the video is like, well, that was a 2 hour one that took ages to upload. Um, when I start when I make sure I have my power pack, some of those interviews might be 3 4 5 hours long, uh, and or if it goes for that long, like that's going to take easily hours to upload before I can then edit it. Because the Insta360, what I use, I have to upload and use the 360 software itself to change it to an MP4 format so that I can then, if I need to edit it in CapCut, I can do it all in the Insta, it says, but I'm just not really familiar with that platform, and I'm just able to do it quicker and easier in CapCut, something that I'm more familiar with. So yeah, it's lots in there. It's not a woe is me story. It's exciting. Like it just means, yep, you want to do this? Okay, cool. You've said that this is what you want to do. You've written out your revised schedule, which I just did on Friday, and then needed to implement it. So hence the early morning training session. So I knew I was going to be leaving at 1:30. So got up around about just after midnight and then got a session in before I left because I knew I wasn't going to get my 4:45 training session in because I'd be on the road traveling and or stopping off, stretching the legs, doing a few little exercises, but not like a proper training for the morning. But those are the things, You make the sacrifices to do the mahi, get the treats, put in the work, you reap what you sow, all that sort of thing. Put in the work consistently and stack up those wins and good things will happen. So no different to training for anything, no different to studying for anything. Those small, consistent efforts, uh, they stack up, they add up, and they eventually lead you to wherever you're meant to be. And I think as I look at Shubs, maybe in his case, all the stuff that he's been doing has led him to where he is now. Like I said, he didn't go knocking on the door. Hey, can I be on Radio Aotearoa and host a show? They came to him. They came to him. Don't get me wrong. I believe he's got fun over there. So, they're full of bloody connected and related to everybody. Seems like anyway. Um, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like I've shared, I don't think there's anything wrong. Like even in any organization, government or whatever, if you've got family members that are capable of doing the job, like the lady that was calling out Pauline Hanson over in Australia, is it true that, or are you aware that the taxpayers fund your daughter's position or blah 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 whatever? And then her question was, did you have anything to do with her appointment to the role that she was in? And Pauline did a good job from what I could tell, calling out her daughter's talents and her strengths, and that she got there of her own merit, etc., etc. But when people make a big deal that somebody's family member or spouse or child or nephew or niece or auntie or uncle, whatever's in there, like I've said, I've got no issue with it as long as they're doing the job that they're there to do. If they're not doing the job they're there to do, then get them out of there. Like, get somebody else that's supposed to be in there. If you've just made up a role because, I don't know, there's a financial benefit or whatever, then again, I think that's just wrong as well. But I suppose when people get into a situation and or if they find themselves in need of money, maybe those temptations become too compelling and draw them in to such a point whereby, well, I can't turn back now because if I do, they've got all this information on me and I'm stuffed or I'm toast. So there's a remedy for that, eh? Don't go down that path in the first place. Again, easier said than done, more than likely. And it comes back to the choices that we make, that you, me, we all have, that we all hold the power to make the decisions. So whether we want to change, whether we don't want to change, whether we want to partake in things that we look at and go, "Oh, I don't think that's right." And don't get me wrong, I've done that too. And or whether we have, where we're at now, we've made the changes for what we're wanting to do, and then we crack on and get after it. And we have nobody else to blame but ourselves. We have nobody else holding us back but ourselves. Sure, there'll be obstacles and stuff that will pop up along the way. Um, but that's like I think I've shared, and other people far more successful, people that you should be listening to far more than me, have spoken about that anything worth achieving was never done easily. Like, it always came with suffering and pain, and they would have used much more eloquent and easy to understand words than what I just used. So anyway, yeah, I don't need that. I jotted down some notes. I've gone through all of those. Pistols are fun to shoot. My fave so far is the Colt 45 9mm. Feel like a spud gun. Nice. Cool. I'll reach out and set it up. Sounds good, man. Yeah, sounds good. Like I said, fair bit of work on. I have got a, like I said, the schedule. What's it? Yeah, it is 4:45, like the workout, but like I do get up again because of the trading sessions that I trade. This isn't an excuse, by the way, either. Like if I can fit it in, I'll just make it. And if there's enough notice, I'm going to look to slot it in and come along and have a shoot. So um, but those hours that I trade the markets, the Tokyo London crossover, only for 3 hours. Oh, 7, 8, to 2 hours, 7 till 9. I'll go longer or stay up longer if I'm in a trade, but otherwise I'm trying to be lights out in bed by 9, after doing the schedule, and then go, yep, this is what I'm needing to do. And then getting up at about quarter past midnight, because the timing at the moment, the London and New York session. So New York opens, London continues, but the New York session opens at midnight for us here. So then I'm trading that through till about 3 in the morning. The reason, again, like the Tokyo London, where I might stay up later or be on it later, is if I'm in a trade, and or if I just want to see if there a certain setup that I'm waiting for, whether it's a sell or whether it's a short or a long, a sell or a buy. If it looks like it's giving the reaction that I was expecting at the key point of interest where I was expecting to enter a trade, or see that type of reaction to then enter a trade, setting then a small stop loss, then I'll probably stay there for another 5 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on what candle I'm looking at and waiting for which candle closure. So yeah, and then so if I do get to bed at 3, then it's back up at 4:45 to start training at 5, and then the day just rolls on from there. Try to get to bed by 9 again, depending, then get up again at quarter past midnight to be back on the charts at half past midnight for a few hours. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to it. That aspect of it, like people like the trading, had that, like I'm doing the trading because I want to try to make money in that. Like there's no other reason for it. I'm not doing it because I want to give money to the market. So yeah, people have asked me, it's one of those things that I just assumed was self-explanatory that people would get. Don't get me wrong. If I could, and if I can generate income through social media, through like not just forex, I will 100% look to try to do it. And I don't know if what I'm working on and what I'm doing now will help that. But one thing is for sure, I will definitely not know, and it definitely won't help if I do nothing and just stay in that comfortable space that I've been in. Just because I was like, I've got a bit of haw with doing a whole bunch of editing and I don't really want to, do that. It's time consuming, all the first world problems. I want to sit around and watch some movies. Well, there's definitely none of that in my schedule. Lives are plotted in there to jump on and do a live. This one's coming up to about 6 minutes left in terms of what I've got scheduled for this to go to. And I do actually get some time back on Saturday and Sunday because the markets, at least for retail traders like me, retail trader sounds weird me saying that. I fit into the retail trading category. Don't know that I call myself a retail trader. Some people might call me retail liquidity, meaning that institutions and other players like end up sweeping my stop losses or whatever. But I'll be honest, I am really enjoying it and have been having more wins than losses in the space that I'm in. No expert by any means, but as I've been progressing, identified I needed to work on my patience, my entries, my discipline, and my confluence. So those four things I've needed to work on a heck of a lot more. I've found myself getting better and better at those each time and each day when the market's open and I'm looking at it. Patience, where I would have normally, or not normally, but where I would have seen like big moves on a candle and then, oh, that's pushing in the direction that I'm expecting. I want to jump in that before the move is finished. I've done that a couple of times. I think they call that FOMO trading. Um, yeah, it's been super easy to just sit back now and not have that concern or worry about, I'm going to miss out. Like that market's not going anywhere. Like you can make money on one day or the next day or the next day or the next week, the next month, the next year. The market's still going to be there. So um, if I'm patient with it, which has helped, where I saw some good improvement for me, at least in my early trading journey. Now it's just a case of me stacking that up, even if I'm not going to trade at a particular time because I might have had some losses, and then I decided, okay, regardless, I'm not going to trade the New York London session because I had two losses in the Tokyo London session. But the routine and the discipline and the consistency is I still need to get up at quarter past midnight, be on the charts from half past midnight, still watching it, and then applying the discipline. Will I not enter the trade? I just said I wasn't going to. Now I need to implement that. And I've personally, I've found it really uh, that aspect of it. If I say I'm not going to enter a trade, like I've already made the decision, I have found it easy to do. Um, and I did that looking at the charts too, going, oh man, I probably would have entered a trade there, seen that push to wherever or drop down to wherever, and have the thought of, oh, maybe I'll just do one trade. It's like, hang on. No, you said you weren't going to trade. So tested myself with that, took a whole week off trading. So built up some good capital in the account and then just wanted to, needed to try to practice my discipline and stuff, and decided before. So when market closed on the Saturday morning for us here in New Zealand, gold anyway, so it closes at 9 in the morning. I had already decided before then, okay, next week I'm not going to enter any trades. I'm still going to jump on the computer. I'm still going to look at the charts. I'm still going to do a top down analysis. I'm still going to mark the areas where I would potentially enter a trade if price was to pull back or push up into those areas and then reject and then give what appears to be a confirmation and then start moving in the direction where I think it's going to go for a shorter or a long. And it was good. Like I had no issue. I looked at it and I thought, oh man, it would have been good to be on that move, but I never looked at it and thought, oh geez, yeah, this has got strong structure, man. It's continuing the trend. I think it's going to carry on going up. Maybe I'll just jump in one trade because like why limit myself? So I did have those thoughts, but they weren't overwhelming, and they didn't compel me enough to uh, change my decision that I'd already made earlier on the Saturday before 9 a.m. that I wasn't going to trade the following week. So those little things, that's definitely helped. Really, I find it, not to sound like an expert in trading, because I'm not. Not to make it sound like it's easy, because clearly people that I know that have been trading for longer than me, they still find it hard. They talk about how they still find it hard to not FOMO trade when they see a big push happening. Like they have spoken about, they still will jump in and click the button, buy or sell, to try to catch that wave, scalping, I guess. And then as soon as they see it make a push or two, because they know it's probably going to, and this is the thing, this is from people that have been doing a lot longer than me, and they know that, yeah, it's going to push, it might be a fake out, and then it's just going to heavily reject and just drop or go all the way in the opposite direction. And so you have this big loss potentially in a short period of time, depending on how your lot size that you're trading. So that just caught me by surprise. I was like, wow, you've been doing this for like years, and you still have that desire to want to do that. Maybe that will still be the case with me in a few years, but where I'm at now, like yeah, it seems strange. Like if all these successful traders are sharing these tips and tricks of what's made them successful, and if all I do is just listen to that, execute, and work on my patience, my entries, my discipline, and the confluence. So using other things to confirm the time frames, using opposite. So for gold, when gold is, if gold is dropping, the DIX is usually going up, and vice versa. So finding as many confluences as you can, or as I can, and using that, along with market structure, sort of like some of those basic, not fundamentals, basic technicals. It's, I give myself a better chance. So yeah, it's like they're clearly good at what they do. So all I need to do is just try to take some time and listen. It reminds me, and I think this is what I put it down to for me. It reminds me of when I was on cycle, and the instructors, gave an instruction, explained, demonstrate, like this, do that. And now it's my turn to go and like this, do that. Oh yeah, he said to do this. I'm going to do that. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer on that anyway, but hopefully it helps in case there's other people out there that are trading too. One of the guys that I'll hopefully have the opportunity to interview, uh, I think I might have mentioned another thing. He was in a gold trade. He only trades gold as well. When I met him that night with Shubs and the other guy. So yeah, pretty interesting. What's this? My dad was an aeronautical engineer. Oh wow, designing missiles. Like I'm going to be building anything that, apart from a paper aeroplane, or maybe a walk on the beach. I'm going to be building anything home that, apart from a paper aeroplane, or maybe a walk on the beach. Wow, your dad, eh? Crazy. That's awesome though. That's cool as. Anyway, did anybody have any questions online? Actually, I can see there. It looks like there's 7 people. Oh, am I looking at the right thing? Maybe I'll go to YouTube. Have a look. Stop sharing that. Maybe try and get into my live and see if. Oh, nah. Look at that. Let me just have a look and see if there's any questions that come through on this chat here. If not, that's all good. I'll leave you to your weekend, to your evening. Oh, hang on. No, to your last night of the weekend, ready for the new week tomorrow for your Monday. So, yeah, I think I got everything. Doesn't look like anything new on there, which is great. Suits me just fine, as long as I haven't missed anybody's comment or question. Yeah, doesn't look like I have. Appreciate you all. Have a awesome evening. Look after yourselves, and I will see yous. Again, like that same message, man. If you got some struggles going on, or if there are hard times happening at the moment, and or you don't know what to do, where to turn, I would almost guarantee that we have got people that we could turn to and speak to, reach out to and have a cordial with, reach out to, go have a hot chocolate with, and just unload to a trusted person that you know has got your back, and or that will support you. So if that's you, if that's something that you need to do that, exercise that. As always, they can just keep turning up regardless of how difficult and challenging it may be. Keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other, just take one day at a time, be kinder to yourself. Things can be pretty lonely and miserable. Things can be pretty hard. I get it. We've all been there. And in those moments, it can seem pretty helpless. But I promise you, through experience for myself anyway, and I don't think that this will change, those better days they are just always closer than you and I think. They are just around the corner. Um, there is a light at the end of that tunnel, like it just, no matter how long, dark, lonely, miserable it might be, things can do and will get better if you want them to. You and I have to want them to get better though. If we don't, well, if nothing changes, if nothing changes, right? So pull ourselves out, pull yourself out if you have to. If you have got somebody that you can reach out to, speak to, reach out to them, have a chat, have a cordial, have lunch together, whatever. Um, Go for a walk on your own. If being on your own and processing stuff on your own works better for you, do that. Look after yourself, but don't, withdraw so completely that you feel like nobody cares and that you feel like nobody is there for you when, people aren't mind readers. And it's probably more so you haven't reached out because you maybe think that they're too busy or you don't want to burden them with what's going on. I've definitely thought that and felt that, and I can say with absolute honesty, like having the opportunities that I've had to be called up by friends and then go and meet with them, as heavy and as sad as some of the stuff is that they share in terms of their situation, it feels nice for me personally to be able to be in a position to share some of that burden, to share some of the load that they've been carrying, so that so that I get a message from my friend who says, just expressing his gratitude and appreciation, and that he feels so much lighter now. It's amazing that, eh? So the uh, the person who needs the help um, can benefit from it, but also the person who is in a position to be able to provide some help can also be a beneficiary as well, and receive some of the, you know, I guess the blessings, the benefits of um, those discussions. So anyway, as always, go always a little further. Remember who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there is a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all. That's it, peeps, ka keets. Look after yourselves. See you on the next video. Where are we?